All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday night stream. Need to fix one thing real quick. I'll be right back. There we go. All right. That should be better. Kind of. Maybe. Nope, it's good. There. All right, sorry, something was bothering me in the background. So, welcome to a Tuesday night stream. Looks like we got some folks here. We've got Uncle Smiley's Aquariums, got Davo, just one more fish. So, welcome, guys. Thank you for being here. I'll give it a couple seconds for people to join in. Tonight we're going to kind of cover just going over why you should enter a fish show, kind of the benefits of it, and then we'll go out in the barn. I'll show you the new fish that we kind of talked about last week, and I did some projects this weekend in the barn as well, so I'll show you those as well because there's quite a few. Just made some minor updates. So last week we didn't really go out in the barn. It was just sort of from the aftermath from the clash. It was just not that great. So welcome, Skipper. How's it going? So yeah, it looks like we've got a couple minutes in. So I'll kind of go ahead and get started a little bit with the fish show talk part of it. I've got Chelsea's game, and the game tonight is actually based on the Keystone Clash. So I took some items from the fish show. Took some of the fish, just took pictures of them, and went ahead and put them in the rotation. That's going to be that way for a while, I think. I'm just going to take pictures from the fish show and have her rate those. Hello, Jonathan G. I hope you're doing well. So with that, let's go ahead and I'll get into my into my notes here. So I kind of wanted to start this out. So yeah, Skipper, it was definitely good seeing you at the Clash as well. It's been since the Triple Crown. So I'll kind of tell you my story first. I kind of wanted to start this out with how I ended up entering a fish show. It kind of happened actually on one of these live streams years and years ago. When the Aquatic Experience was going on, King and Queen Cichlids came about on the channel, and he was like, hey, he was running the fish show at the Aquatic Experience in New Jersey, and at the time I had a pretty nice Geophagus, and he had went ahead and pushed me to enter it. So I entered that, and I think I entered a Victorian cichlid as well. And so I went ahead, packed it up in kind of like a big sort of, it wasn't really a cooler, but a big tote, and took it down there. So Scuba Steve says it's addictive, these fish shows. Yes, definitely so. So hello, Steven. I hope you're feeling a little bit better. I saw that you canceled Monday night because you weren't feeling that well. So hopefully you're feeling better. Yeah. So anyway, so I took the fish over there, and it was kind of funny because then I was live streaming from the Aquatic Experience, and they were putting the ribbons on the awards, and going through it, and my Geophagus had a ribbon on it, and as I was streaming, all of a sudden I see like 2 or 3 people standing around the tank, and they take the ribbon off of my tank and they move it to the fish next to it. So I went and found out what was going on, and basically there was a mistake with the fish. They had picked the wrong tank, and so it was kind of, I handled it fine. I was like, people make mistakes, it happens, right? But hello, Peplin, how's it going? Thank you for being a member for 9 months. I do appreciate it. But yeah, so you go ahead and so it kind of was like the jaws of victory were kind of stolen, right? So so you had that high of winning, of placing, especially since it was my first one. I didn't have any expectations, but I was like, hey, I'm going to try it and see what happens, right? But when that happened, it was definitely a disappointment. I'll not lie about that. Right. So it was definitely kind of a disappointment, but you move on and whatever. And it kind of though encouraged me to keep doing it because now I wanted to win. Like I was like, okay, like I probably would have never done it again, or I may not have never done it again if it wasn't for having that experience, right? So it was kind of like having like victory stolen. It wasn't really stolen, right? Because it was just an honest mistake, but like it was kind of just, you know, that feeling, right? Kind of pushed me, and I can be a little competitive sometimes, and I was kind of like, okay. So I kind of didn't do one for a while, and then I went to the ALA Triple Crown and entered like the Live Bear show. And in my local fish club, I have sort of a, I wouldn't call him like a nemesis really. He's a friendly rival. We'll call him that. That's the best way to describe it. We're cool, but like we definitely compete against each other for like Breeders' Award stuff and stuff like that in the fish club. It's just it's just kind of how that goes. He and I kind of compete with each other. So I went to the Triple Crown. Still really didn't know what I was doing, right? So I entered a bunch of fish in the Triple Crown, and he goes out and he wins like 3 or 4 awards. So that kind of stung a little too, to be honest with you. So so he and I kind of, like I said, he and I were kind of rivals in this. But so that stung a little bit too. So I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out how to do this like the right way. So I kind of started, basically by entering my club's bull show. And that's kind of where I got started and kind of figured out how to do this correctly. So with that kind of, and then from there, I did the 2023 American Live Bear Association show in Kalamazoo. Actually placed at some fish there. Ended up with the Robert Rush Miller Award, which was for like the best kind of like oddball live bear. So I got that. So started kind of figuring it out, and then obviously with the Keystone Clash, getting best of reserve show for the Gourami was really cool. Something kind of a bucket list item for me, and then did place 8 other fish as well. So definitely have kind of learned and kind of gone through the growing pains of that. So now that I've kind of told my story, now I kind of want to talk about like why you should do it. So I think one of the coolest parts about it is you get to really learn the max size of your fish. So for example, like, excuse me, allergies are kind of firing up right now. So you get to learn the max size of your fish. So you've got like, say, like a Xenotoka Eisenai. Like for example, there was a really nice big female Xenotoka Eisenai sitting in the Keystone Clash Fish Show. And that was a fish that I actually thought might actually win. If I were to judge that, I probably would have placed that fish. But, people have different opinions and stuff like that. But that was the one, where it's like, hey, Eisenai can get like this big. Get this tall. Like, it's really a cool thing to see. Seeing, the size of the fish and seeing like how, seeing like, basically seeing like how big these fish actually get. Because a lot of times if you go to your fish store, you're not seeing full-size adults. A lot of times at a club auction, 2 people are selling smaller fish as well. So it's really a good opportunity to see fish that are really like of proper size. So definitely a good thing there. Another kind of thing too with it, you really get exposed to some fish that you've never seen before. So for example, if Ryan brought a huge Belisonics. He was enormous, and or she was actually a female. So she was a really large fish, and it was definitely something to see. Like, hey, this fish gets that big, and a lot of people maybe have not seen that fish. I know that they were talking about it when the judges all got together to kind of talk about best of show. And a lot of the judges didn't know what that fish was. So I think it's a good thing to like expose you to new fish, even if it's like a South or Central American cichlid, which I don't have a lot of knowledge in, or maybe an African cichlid or things like that. Select Pet said that was a huge eyes and eye. Yep, definitely was. I think if it was a library show, it was like the ALA show, I think that fish would have judged pretty well. But it's kind of funny to see, going back to that, like how big some of the Gudea species really can get. Like there's some people out there who have some really large Gudea species. With that too, I was going back to like my second point about being exposed to new species. You might be interested in, you can see, the differences in, it might spawn an interest in a fish that you've never kept, right? So say you've never kept, like a South American cichlid, and you see one there that you kind of like, and it's like, hey, I think that fish is kind of cool. You might try to keep that fish. So. Select Pat says you can see the difference in the adult sizes of the males and females of the pike live bearer. Yeah, that one was, the male was mine. That fish actually got second in that class, but, definitely was, that was one of those moments, like when I want to do a fish show, like my goal is to always to have fish that are competitive. I like to use that word, that their size is correct, the deportment's good. The color generally is pretty good and things like that. So, and that was one of the few where I was like, I'm not gonna, it's kind of a sinking feeling when you bring a fish to a show and then you see one that's like just dwarfs yours and you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. So that's kind of, going back to this though, I think one of the main things too is learning how to transport and keep the fish alive. I think there's definitely a skill to keeping all of these fish alive for that period of time, whether it's for the auction like I did for the clash and for the fish show. I kind of handled the auction fish differently than the show fish. But yeah, it's definitely something to learn how, especially if you ever wanted to go into like the business of shipping fish. It's definitely a very good practice to see how to keep these animals alive for a long period of time. It's just definitely it's a learning curve. I've lost fish. I lost fish this time because I made kind of a dumb mistake when I transported them home, which was something that I was kind of upset with myself about, to be quite honest. But I really have gotten pretty good at keeping them alive too. So with that. Let's kind of talk about like my, before we kind of go on to the game and everything, I do want to talk about my process of how I take fish to the fish show. I know like a lot of the cichlid guys and stuff have show fish. I necessarily don't have show fish. I mean, I'm more of a, I don't have a separate like, for like the swordtails and for like the gourami and everything. I'll show you the tank where some of those fish came out of too. I took three of the show fish that I took to the show, I took out of one tank. There's one of my kind of like catch-all tanks, we'll call it. All right, so John from Select Pet says, but no, the male shouldn't be judged against the female for size. No, of course. Of course, it should be judged by like the standard of that sex and that fish. So I definitely agree with that. So going back to like my process of how I take fish to a show, I know everyone does it differently. I think my first word of advice is if you're in a fish club and you do a bull show, go and participate in that bull show, even if it's stuff you're not interested in. Go and participate in that bull show. It's just practice on how to do it. And it kind of keeps you fresh and how to like transport the fish and do everything like that. So I think that's my number one word of advice. I mean the judging, like at my club, I think the judging's a little is not the best. But I mean it depends on who's judging it. I think some days it's better than others. But still, it's more of a practice to keep yourself engaged and keep yourself kind of in practice of doing a fish show. Along with that, I think one of my main keys to this, and I think that's the thing that's kind of that I figured out to kind of make this work so I was like actually placing in fish shows, and instead of like just having, just kind of being there and fish are not really doing well, is to take your own water. I know it was a little ridiculous taking, 70 gallons of water to Pennsylvania, but I feel that that seems to help with like the deportment and the behavior of the fish and everything, because they're not dealing with, you kind of want to reduce your stress level right on the fish. And if I put them, say in Pennsylvania water, even though it was pretty similar to mine, looking at the parameters that they had in there, it was pretty similar. But it seems to me, especially with like the deportment and how the fish are behaving and things like that, I think it really just helps to take your own water. I mean, it was a huge pain in the neck, dragging 70 gallons of water to the Clash. Thankfully they let me store my water near the fish show, so I didn't have to like drag it all through the hotel and everything like that. But taking your own water seems to be the thing that kind of unlocked it for me to doing a lot better. And then the next, I think it kind of starts really like preparing like the week before the show. Obviously, like the Fish Club Bull Show, I don't do this level of preparation, but you really do want to fast your fish. A lot of times before an auction or before like a fish show, I'll fast the fish. I have a bunch of 2.5 gallon tanks that I use. I have some 10 gallons too if I need them. Even if you just use a bucket, whatever you use, just put them in a separate. Like doesn't seem to work as well for me if you have them in like a separate tank, or keep them in there. Sorry, if you keep them in their tank and then have them acclimate, or have them fast there, they seem to find food and stuff. That's just like they seem to pick at whatever microorganisms and stuff, and they don't seem to do as well. But if I put them in like an empty, black painted 2.5 gallon tank, they seem to do a lot better. So, that's what I like to do. I like for the Clash, I pulled them out on. It was Sunday before the Clash. I think I started pulling them out and putting them in containers to get them fasting. And then when you pack the fish up, I like to use like fresh aged water. Like I'll take. So just one more fish took 700 gallons of water. Knows the pain. Yeah, I mean the sturgeon alone probably took quite a bit. So Scuba Steve separated his with breeder boxes. Yeah, like you can use whatever container that you need, right? But so like I said, fasting them and then using that like clean new water, and then I like to use a hard container. I didn't bring anything with me down here, but it's in the barn. I'll show you some of the containers I use. They're just just hard plastic, something with a lid. Some of them are old fish foods containers that I got from Cunningham Cichlids. A couple of them are 4 of them are just like snapped together like Tupperware type containers that I use for our club's bull show. But yeah, it's just generally something like that where it's kind of watertight, kind of hard so they don't get beat up real bad. Now with the auction fish, I did use bags and they seem to work fine, but I really do like to use like the hard containers. I think it kind of reduces the stress a little bit. And then I do use like an Aquarium Co-op ammonia reducing little sponge in there to help kind of reduce the with that. So and then with that, I mean, then I load it in what I call the cooler of death, which is like I have a big 4-foot white cooler that I take to auctions, take to swaps, take to fish shows, and I loaded up the cooler of death, and then took it there. Yeah, and then everything I said, other than the dumb mistake I made with the swordtails and putting them in with the pleco, other than that, everything else really did well. So in terms of travel, I mean they traveled for like 5 days basically. I mean they left Thursday. I mean they were packed Wednesday, went Thursday all the way to Pennsylvania, rode in the car, got moved, went to the show, and then came back. So, before we kind of head to the fish game, one funny story though is I brought a Allophorus robustus, and he was in a he was in like a 2.5 gallon Tractor Supply bucket, and the night before, like I benched him, which is the process of putting him in the tank. The night before I took him down to put him in the show, he kept beating on the bucket. Like I could hear one of the fish literally just pounding on the bucket, just pounding like all night long on the bucket. So he was definitely really wanting to get himself out. So I was sitting there. I was like, which fish is just like beating the bucket to death? I mean, I brought a big rainbow fish, and I thought that was the fish that was doing it, but I think it was actually the Allophorus robustus. So, so I'm going to do one thing first. So I'm going to set out some gifted memberships to folks. Let's see who got them real quick. So Beto Great Lakes, Skipper, Jennifer Linkist, Whip, and mostly Betta, or mostly Mbuna, excuse me. So so I think the one thing that I really kind of push when I give out the memberships is go check out my G'day talk. It's kind of buried a little bit, but you have to go find it. But go watch that. It's about 45 minutes long or so. Probably, and I think that's probably the best version of that talk that I've given as well. So definitely check that out. And then I do try to put videos out early for you guys that are members. I'm not perfect about it, but we'll see what I can do. So with that, let's go ahead here, and I'll rearrange all the screens and everything real quick, and we'll play the fish game. All right. I am on the right screen. All right, cool. All right, so with that, we'll go ahead and we'll play the Are They Basic game. We've got, these are fish, all from the fish show from the Keystone Clash. So basically took pictures out of the video that I did. That video will actually come out Sunday. So definitely check that out. Some pretty nice fish in that show. So with that, can I go over the rules real quick? I'm going to show you a picture of the fish. Guess in the chat how basic you think they are. Hello, Foxy. So between 1 to 10. So 1 being very, very basic, 10 being cool. And then I'll show you what she thought after that. So for those of you that might be new, she is a she's a 18-year-old college student now at Michigan State University. So it kind of gives you an interesting look into someone who's not a fish keeper and how they view our fish. So I'll be actually seeing her on Friday. I'm going to go to the with her to the Nebraska versus Michigan State volleyball game. She was a volleyball player, so, and Nebraska's arguably the best team in the country. They're undefeated, #1 in the nation. They actually have a couple players on their team from Michigan, which I think is kind of cool as well. So it'll be kind of fun to experience that. She's going to sit in the student section. I'm just going to go sit by myself wherever my seat is and kind of enjoy that. But might put a couple pictures up from that, just so you guys can kind of have a look at it. So with that, let's go ahead and get on with the fish here. So the first one here is this. It was an Asian, it was like an albino red-tailed cat or something like that, I believe is what it was. So let me know what you guys think. All right, so just one more fish says, oh, that's a 10. Davo got 2. Stevens got 5. Lucky has 8. Beto Great Lakes has 5. Uncle Smiley has got 4. Skipper's got 10. Just one more fish. Albino Asian Red. Okay. Yeah, like we'll see if I remember all the names. So that may be your fish too. So that'd be funny if I actually picked all of his fish. I might have, because this is when I tried to get some of the more unique ones to have her rank. So yeah. So we'll give it. Jonathan G's got 6. I didn't think about that when I picked these. So we'll give it a couple seconds here. Going once, going twice. Sold. So basic ranking, she gave it a 4. So it looks like Uncle Smiley has that one. Uncle Smiley got that one. So moving on now. Let's see if this one is Jesse's as well. So this is a blue dolphin. So I believe it's blue dolphin. But yeah, kind of nice fish. We've got the it's got the lips on it. Oh, I missed Foxy. Okay. Oh, sorry, Foxy. I should have. I didn't catch that. My bad. So yeah, I kind of wanted to see with the lips on this one what she thought it would be. So Davo's got 1. Lucky has 7. Foxy has 3, along with Steven and Beto. Uncle Smiley's got 2. Not Jesse's, but he's got 4. So Scuba Steve, I think Scuba Steve judged this fish, and that thing was a tough fish to judge. Definitely a 9 at least. Skipper's got 5. Yep. Yeah, there's a couple that have like the of African cichlids that kind of got the human lips on them like that. So we'll give it a couple seconds here. Jonathan G's got 7. So give it couple seconds going once. Scuba Stevo says I think he got 2nd place. Okay. So going once, going twice. She gave this one a 4 too. So she was I want to flip the screen back. I'm going to do one thing real quick. I think I may have made an error. I did. I think she gave that like a 7. Give that like a 10. All right. Actually, she gave that a 6. I messed that up. I didn't. I put the labels on, and then did not. So I apologize for that. I think the first one was a 4. So apologize for that. Um, so I went and updated the other ones real quick. So we'll move on to the next fish here. Got the parrotfish. So there's definitely some interesting things in the oddball, like the hybrid category. Like this was judged like with like OB peacocks and stuff, because the OB peacocks were hybrids as well. So so Beto's got an 8. Scuba Stevo's got a 12. That might be his fish. Foxy's got 8. Jesse's got 2. Lucky's got 3. Stephen P's got 7. Uncle Smiley's got 8. Oh, that's his Pam. Okay. Jonathan G's got 5. Select Pet's got 10. Okay, so I got 2 people in chat's fish. That's good. Stay tuned next week and we'll do some more. I don't know if I can get a good picture of the sturgeon. But yeah, this class was weird to judge. Like, the judge who judged this class actually took me over and asked for my help with one of the fish. Not this one, but he did say something about how this class was really hard to judge just because of how, like the diversity of like fish that he had to judge. Like comparing this to like an OB peacock, I think it's kind of hard. You know, when you have a certain class of fish, right? Like if you have, say, guppies, you look at a guppy, you look at a rack of guppies, you can kind of pick out your top 3, 4, 5, 6 fish, right? That you can kind of start with. Like this, I mean, it would be like, hey, yeah, cool. It doesn't come out to you right away, I don't think. So, give it another couple seconds here, and then we'll go ahead and, yeah, peacocks versus parrots. It's a little bit of a crazy class. So, so with that, let's go ahead here, and I'll flip over the this here. So she gave that an 8. So Uncle Smiley got that. Foxy got that. Beto got that as well. So definitely a couple of you guys got that. Next one up here, this is the Thoricles maculopinus. If you look closely enough at the bottom, you can see the label I put on it from the video. I didn't get it far enough down on that one because it was kind of, didn't want to like blow the screen up completely and kind of wash the fish out completely. But yeah, that's a Thoricles maculopinus. It's either South or Central American. Not sure on that, on which that is. Like I think I've actually kept this once. But Beto's got 9, Steven's got 9, Davo's got 6, Scuba Steve's got 9, Foxy's got 6. Just One More Fish has 8. Uncle Smiley has 6. As we're kind of going through the numbers here, I do want to say too, it was kind of interesting. I kind of thought there would have been a little bit more African cichlids in the fish show. So I think that's kind of, you know, a big indicator towards like how the hobby is shifting, kind of away from African cichlids. So, so we've got Just One More Fish is 8. Smiley's got 6. Jonathan G's got 7. Lucky's got 9, and Select Pet has 8. So I'll give it a few more seconds here. Definitely do want to get out to the barn. So. So I'll give it a couple more seconds here. Going once, going twice. Sold. 10. She gave this one a 10. So I don't think anyone had a 10. Nope, we had some 9s. All right, this one I thought was very interesting, and I think this might be Jesse's fish too. I think. So this is the short body Colibri peacock bass, which is, I thought, to be a very unique fish. definitely this one's definitely a little controversial, I think. I could have seen this one. I know the sturgeon took it, but I could have seen this one winning um, the People's Choice Award too, just because it was unique. So, oh, it's not yours. I thought it was. So okay. So Beto's got 10. Scuba Steve's got 10. Lucky's got 5. Davo's got 3. Just One More Fish has 8. Steven's got 6. I know you guys just got an ad, so I apologize for that. I got to do 1. So I don't try to hit you guys with ads with this, but I do have to put 1 in, so I do it kind of halfway in betweenish. Oh, okay. So a guy named Samuel. Okay. So Foxy's got a 1. Chevy's got 6. Welcome, Chevy. Nice to see you. Yeah, I don't know what I think about this. I was I was definitely torn on this fish, on my likability on it. Like, I don't know what I would rank this, because I'd probably give it a 5 because I couldn't make up my mind. So I would just sit on the fence. Sit on the fence. Oh, so Jenna says, I think Sam was the judge. I thought this was Glenn's fish. Okay. So welcome, Jenna. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know Sam or Glenn, I don't think. Like I said, I'm not real familiar. Oh, so this is Sam's dad's. Okay. I think I may have figured out who Sam was. I think he was the guy who judged like the angelfish. But yeah. So so Select Pet gave it a 6. I don't like. Yeah, see, I was kind of in the middle. Like I kind of do like peacock bass. I'll never keep one because I don't want to have the tank and keep something that's like that aggressive. Yeah, it was hard to kind of. These were taken from videos. Like I didn't take pictures of these fish, so they were just taken from the videos. So this is not the best. Was not the best shot. I probably could have done a little better. So, but so anyways, let's go ahead and flip it over real quick. 6 out of 10 for that one. So she kind of put it in the middle. So Select Pet got that. Uncle Smiley got it. Chevy got it. Steven got it. So a lot of you guys kind of kept on the fence. So I think that was the last one. Yep, we're done with that. So, all right. I know we're kind of running a little late tonight, so we'll go ahead and get the barn cam going here. So yeah, I did do quite a few projects in the barn this weekend, and I'll show you those. And I'll actually show you the new fish that I got at the Clash, along with the fish that I picked up at the Swampus auction that we kind of talked about last week. So give me about 2 seconds to get out to the barn, and we'll jump in and kind of take a look at see what's going on. So I will be right back. All right, let's. Can I get an audio visual check, please? Just to make sure that we're working correctly. So, so yeah, let's go ahead and first thing I'll show you real quick is I rearranged the barn. I moved my seat from here over to there. TV was over here, and I moved the TV over there. So, kind of changed the setup a little bit. I kind of wanted to use the fish, um, like all of this table space for activities. I know it's kind of cluttered right now, but I kind of, you see like that 2.5 gallon tank there. That's kind of what I use to fast fish. So I've got a bunch more of them downstairs. So I want to be able to set these here, and then I can pack as we're going through it. So, so yeah. So with that, kind of going through, we'll get into some more project stuff downstairs. But I did move the Cory Cats out of this tank. That they were in this 29 gallon, and then I put in the Shelleys. These are Neolamprologus multifasciatus from a 40 gallon that's downstairs. So I moved them to this 29. So that was one thing that we did this weekend. And then we'll go take a look at some of the new fish. There wasn't really a lot of project stuff up here per se, but we'll definitely take a look at some of the new fish. One thing I did manage to do is I did manage to add a net total of 4 fish tanks to the barn, which I didn't think I had room for, but we did find a way to do that. So first one here, first fish I'll show you, this is the Xiphophorus species Regio from the Santa Ana River. This is a wild type platy species. Don't really know what it looks like, so I'm kind of curious. But one of the people I get fish from quite a bit, he had like 10 fry of these, so I'm pretty curious to see. I know this tank's not in the best shape, so I'm sorry that but right now they're just kind of just grayish brown. So, but yeah, those are just kind of here. Next one up here is the Jarnus falcatus. I did get 2 females at the Swamis auction. These 2 big, large, massive females. I didn't think they got this big, but someone was selling them, and obviously since they were just females, they kind of went for cheap. So I just added them to the collection for the Jarnus falcatus. One that I was very happy to find, and I actually found this at our club meeting because we had a speaker come. His name is DJ Hemmerline. He kind of is a member of Swamis. He came and spoke to our club about wild Xiphophorus. So I only had one of these. It's the Xiphophorus staphydium from El Molino, Cabotepec. But he did have a pair. So now I have 3. You can kind of see them in the back. They're a really small platy species. They don't get very big. I know Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks has had these before. I've never really had a lot of success breeding them, but maybe with some new additions here, I think maybe we'll have some luck. So, not really a new fish update, but I did move some of the multicolored guppy fry in here. So those are the 2 males I had. The females dropped in a 5 gallon. Unfortunately, I lost the females, but I've got, you can see here, a ton of fry. So, moving right along. All right, so up here we have the Xiphophorus Montezume from Rio Tomasopo. There is a small male in here right now. I don't know where he is at the moment, but you can see those guys in here. So there's another one back over there. So they're just kind of living amongst the guppy grass. I'm also picked up at the Clash. There's Iphophorus nezahua coyote. So there's the male right there. Pretty fish. I'm pretty happy with these. The last group of these I had were really, really shy. They didn't really come out much. So I'm really kind of happy that the three of them are kind of out and about. So definitely something pretty happy with. One of the things I did have to do when I was rearranging all the fish was I did move. I had a male and female Crocodon audax from Los Pinos in a different tank, so I just put them all together in here. I did see a male in here. I thought that had the red. I don't see him now, but maybe he'll come out later on. Because a lot of these fish, if you see this one, he's got some red on him, but some of them get like completely red finnage, and I really want to try to get that full red out of these fish. He was a little tiny male in here, so this tank's been a little bit unsettled because the males do get quite aggressive. So it's not this guy. He's kind of the normal blackish red. So think almost it. I'll swing by real quick and check the computer for any new chats. Let me see. Yeah, so let me see. Yep, DJ's the son. Select Pat. Yep. So, all right, let's go ahead and keep heading down. So I'm going to fully regret setting this tank up down here, but it is what it is. You can see there's no space, but I did get these Placilia bosemani. These are kind of a newly described molly species. I got these at the Southwest Michigan auction. So see the male, it's kind of like a Liberty molly, a little bit, got kind of like that same red fin on it. But just had to set this 29-gallon tank up. Believe it or not, I did find space, but I think I'm getting close to being out. Also at the Keystone Clash, I got these Iphophorus helleri from Rio Ayatoak. These were just fry. They're little, juveniles, so you can see them here. They get kind of a reddish marking on them with some speckling. So kind of interested to see how these turn out. And then there's more. All right, so I've had these before, but one of the projects I did is I finished out this rack. So I think you guys have seen these bottom two tanks, but I did get a couple more 5.5 gallons and filled this rack out. So I got a bunch of fry from the Iphophorus variatus from Rio Coquilco. They're kind of a cool. These are kind of a cool fish. If you watch the channel before, you've seen these before the adults. They get the males will get either like a red, clear, yellow, orange tail, and have quite a bit of speckling on it. Right now, obviously, these are like little tiny fry, so they won't. But other than that, it's pretty much similar. These were the lion's eye that I got out of the tubs. So I moved those in here. They were in a 2.5 gallon with like no air, so I figured it was time to get them into a legit grow out tank. This is the other group of multicolored guppies. And that glare is absolutely atrocious. So give me 1 second. But yeah, so so those guys are looking pretty good. They're probably due to be moved back into the main tank. So I'll have to get that going here. Maybe this weekend if I get to it. So still a little cleanup work to do down here, but it's a lot better than it was. It was an absolute nightmare. So new fish this way. Set up another tank here. I got clean up some wiring stuff still. But this is the Xiphophorus clementiae, and they're not outright. These guys have been a little skittish. You can see the male right there. Maybe he's right behind that plant. He's right down there. So the female's in here too, but they're kind of a whitish color, kind of like the Nezuko And then above those guys is the Xiphophorus maiae. I got these at the Clash. Pretty nice pair of fish. These guys get pretty big, so they're here in this 40 breeder. Hopefully we'll see some fry from these. And, there's quite a bit of cover in here so that they can hide out. And like I said, hopefully we see some fry. Up next, one of the projects I am going to do, I'm going to sell off probably or retank. Because there are some fry of the Lamprologus ornatopenis in here in this corner. I don't know if you can see any or not right now, but I am going to save those. See if I can get those breeding in their own tank. But I'm going to take this whole tank out, and I'm actually going to do. I'm going to sell off the Callichromis and then the random sips, and there's a couple Paracyprochromis nigropenis in here too. I'm going to sell those all off and take this tank out and put some smaller tanks here. Let's see. Everything else here is same. So these are like the 2.5 gallon tanks I use. So I've got them painted. So what I do is I paint them black, bottom. So, all right. So this is the like I said, I got to do some wire work still. But I took out the 40 gallon breeder that was here and added 310s. It's a lot better. I think it looks a lot nicer. And that 40 breeder was kind of janky, honestly. And so I got that taken out, put some 10s in. I can do like fry work. I can keep guppies. I can maybe do something different with this. But kind of wanting to play a little bit with some smaller tanks just to see what happens. So that was kind of the major project. I didn't die taking the 40 breeder off of the stand. So that was good. But yeah, that's one of the, that was kind of the main project. And I think we covered all the fish. I'm trying to think if I missed any. No, but talking of the fish show, so in this tank here, there's quite a few fish that I entered in the fish show. You can see the gourami. I don't know if there's 2 in here, so I don't know if this was the one I took or not. There's the big rainbow fish that was at the show. Obviously, it looks a little bit colored up better now. And then you can see the Allophorus robustus right here as well. So there's some rainbow cichlids in here that are, they've spawned occasionally in here. And then that's kind of it. But the one fish I wanted to take, and I should have, is I wanted to take these high fin platies, and I messed up and I forgot to sign them up. But I thought those would have done pretty well. So, let's see. For our next auction too, if you're local to Metro Detroit, I am going to take these Tropheus and sell these off along with the other Tropheus in the tank that I need to clean. But the Tropheus Mpungu over here, I'm going to take these and sell them off as well. I don't know yet what I'm going to put in these. I think I'm going to put the sips in this tank. Obviously, I need to clean it, but I'm going to do that. Oh, I missed one. Yeah, you guys need to see this one. This was the green Gadea that I talked about last week. I'm going to see if we can see one. It was actually kind of funny because I remember I told you guys in the beginning of the stream about kind of like my fish rival. He actually gave me another female of this fish. At the club meeting, I was kind of surprised. He's like, "Hey, I had an extra female. I don't have these anymore. Here you go." I was like, "Oh, cool." So he and I have like never really traded fish or anything. So, but you can see, I think that's the male. Underneath, yes, that's the male. He's got that he has an interesting kind of sheen to him. But at Xenophorus captivus, got all the location information from him about. Well, let's see if I can get a better view. There you go. So I don't think a lot of people have this fish. I was very surprised to see it. I was kind of debating of not going to the or to the Swamis auction because of the clash. I was just tired, but glad I did. The female, these guys have been kind of reclusive. So hopefully they'll be a little bit better here as the time goes on. So, all right, let me head upstairs and we'll kind of answer some questions and see kind of where we're at time wise. All right, so thanks Chevy for Paracibrochromis nigropinis. That's what I meant. Yeah. So all right, 8:58. So let's head back inside. We'll answer some last questions, do some announcements, and go from there. So just give me a couple seconds to head back inside, and we'll kind of wrap everything up. Oh, as we're going out, this is the containers I use to carry fish in. At least one of them. I usually use this for the bull show, but it's kind of like a snap-on lid that you can just snap on the top. And I like to transport fish and stuff like that. Now we're in the dark. Heading back. All right, we're back. Yeah, so let's see what questions you guys have. So, hello, Mexicali. Welcome. Hello, Tina. I think that might be a new name, so welcome. So, yeah, so we're kind of just finishing up here, but yeah, so a couple of announcements. If you're near Toledo, Ohio, or Grand Rapids, Michigan, there's a swap near Toledo. This is the Northwest Ohio Aquarium Society. That's the club that Kelly Foreman spoke at a month or two ago. And then she is actually speaking for my club, the Motor City Aquarium Society, on the second Thursday in November. I don't know what the date is of that. I think it might be the 7th of November. So she's going to be speaking at our club, and then we have our auction on might be the 6th, because I think our auction is November 8th. So, and then those are all the fish events coming up that I know about. If there's a chance I may not stream next week, Chelsea's coming back for winter break, or for summer, but let me get my seasons right, for fall break. And so we might be taking her back late Tuesday night. So it will depend on what she wants to do. So there's a chance there may not be a stream next Tuesday, just depending on what her schedule is. I don't know yet. So I'll check out the community tab. If I have to cancel, I'll let you guys know. So with that, I think we're all set. I think Bentley's probably streaming tonight, so check out him if you haven't. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe out there, stay fishy, and I will catch you guys next week. Next week probably, if not the week after. So have a great evening and a great week, and we'll